Hey guys, Mark here. This is a big day for me. I have been working at this all winter. I have managed to lose quite a bit of weight off my pack. In layman's terms, I think I've gone from traditional to lightweight. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm definitely kind of excited to show you all my new gear. Let's talk about first the whole lightweight experience. So first of all, I've got into this because I'm starting to have problems with my back. I'm having problems with a few different areas, but the back is the one that's kind of been consistent. And last year I decided to kind of push through it as best I could. Well, actually the summer before that I was kind of pushing through it. Last year I took it a lot more seriously. And I still, at the end of the year, it's like, okay, I have to do something about this. And it's not so much the lightweight part, it's the money part. And, wow, that's a bit of a lie. It's kind of the lightweight part, right? Getting a small new tint and, something that sets up all different. And it's a lot of changes. It is. Let me just say right off the hop that if you're looking for a cheap way to do this, I am not the guy to look to because it cost me $3,100. I opened my wallet and then I was happy with the results, so I opened my wallet again and then I kind of even opened it up again. So yeah, $3,100 is the final result. But I have lost about 11.5 pounds off my bag. So major. That's pretty major. This is going to be like my final iteration. I mean, I'm planning to backpack for at least another 6-7 years. And I really had to just decide, okay, sure, I'm not sure about my back, but I can't act as if, oh, I'll give it one more year. I'll give it 2 more years and let's see what's happening. I just said, you know what? I'll just spend the money. Worst thing that happens is maybe I need to sell it off and take a haircut, right? Let's start off with, there's really nothing original. I have some interesting ideas, but most of it, I mean, now in the days of YouTube and the days of just going online and looking things up, you just get your ideas from other people, all right? As far as actually getting your hands on this stuff, you basically have to use the internet. I mean, even when I found something that was supposed to be at Mech or at Breathe, I would go there and they wouldn't have it. And they're just like, oh yeah, there's, we found this happened, that happened. And they just don't sell. There's just lightweight or ultralight is like a niche, right? I mean, it's a niche in a niche. Backpacking is, it's a thing, but most people are traditional backpackers that go for no more than 4 days at a time. Well, lightweight and ultralight that's a niche. And so in order to get stuff, I had to order usually from the States. You try to do Amazon.ca, so you don't have to pay import duty fees, but I didn't let, if something had to come from the States, I didn't let that stop me. I wanted what I wanted, and I decided to just shell out the moolah, right? Another thing about ultralight is I've entered this new world that I don't care about. The world of competitive, base weights. I've told some people about it, and sometimes I end up with this passive aggression coming back at me, I was a traditional backpacker. I had a huge backpack. They didn't need to worry about me. Suddenly, I'm entering the lightweight realm. Wow. All of a sudden, I'm competition or something. And I get some of these little, almost like snide little remarks and, asking about my weight and, what am I doing and what am I, all this sort of thing. It's almost like I'm a threat to, let me just assure you that I don't give a flying rat's ass about what someone else is carrying. I mean, the base weight I'm going to give you today is for a 6 to 8 day backpack. I know a lot of people just do 2 or 3 or 4 days. I don't care. I don't care at all, right? If you're going to have a yardstick for backpacking, tell me what you've done. And, like North Boundary Trail, South Boundary Trail. And as opposed to oh, well, well, you know, I've done blah, blah, blah. I'm probably going to shake your hand. I mean, that's awesome, right? I mean, why not support each other? Who gives a crap about, well, I've done, you know, yeah. I do this for me, and, you know, it's fun to put out YouTube videos, and I'm generally pretty happy with that, you know. I take pride in what I've done, and I'm not here to lord it over other people. And so I don't care. I don't care about, I have a lighter pack than such and such and such now. Like, you know, I paid $3,000. I mean, who, you know, it's, yeah. Anyone with money can just go online and order the stuff I did. There's no big secret to it. Okay, let's get started. So I did use the lighter backpack website, app, whatever you want to call it, to figure out first what my base weight originally was. And then I have put in there for, you know, the new one. I have seen people who have shared it on their YouTubes. I'm not sure how to do that yet, but I will try. So I will try and put it below. In the meantime, I just have this, you know, very, very professional, right? So my original base weight, and I took everything I did for doing the Athabasca Pass Trail, which was 8 days, and I came up with 25.65 pounds. So, you know, generally what I have found is you start out with a whole bunch of like reduced, and, you know, like as much as you can, you carry as little as you can, but then little things start seeping in, and you start bringing little extras, and there's definitely some results of that on this one, right? So, start cutting weight. Okay, I'm gonna start right at the top. Backpack. This thing is a tank, a Zenith 105 Osprey. It's the biggest backpack I could find. It's what I wanted. I wanted it for everything, right? Everything. You can detach this and use it as a day pack. I've done that several times. Nice luxuries, lots and lots of pockets, very comfortable. You know, lots of padding, very nice. It served me well. It has a lot of holes in it now. It's showing its wear. I might have to use this for backpacks that are substantial, like 10 days and over. So I'm gonna have to adopt this again, but in the meantime, that thing weighs 5 pounds. 5 pounds. Here's the new one. ULA Ohm 2. I got the Ultra. So Ultra is a little more expensive. It's kind of new material. It's a bit more waterproof, I think, is generally the idea. All right, let me see how much this thing cost. Cost a lot. Okay, ULA backpack, $650.36, and then UPS charged me $47.45 for import fees. So yeah, substantial. ULA Ohm 2, it's equivalent to, I believe it was 60 liters. So this thing is super, super light, really light. It's got nice big pockets over here, but generally not a lot else. Went in here, little side stuff, right? And you just kind of roll it down like that, right? This thing is stupidly light. Okay, let's see here. So the old backpack was 2,267 grams. This thing is 450. By the way, I'm only using grams, no ounces, no pounds. If you want to know, go and look it up. 5 pounds for that backpack, 2,267 grams, and now we're down to 450. So right off the hop, we have saved 1,817 grams, which is a lot. Of course, I can't really use this for, I'm hoping to use it for at least 6 to 8 day backpacks, but 8 days is pushing it. I've already discovered that. A couple other things about this backpack. I did buy like a little inside pocket. little hard to show it to you. So that was like an add-on accessory. That'll be for like stuff that I need but I never use. So a wallet, my keys for my car, my GPS Garmin unit, right? I mean, I use that like 2 or 3 times per year. Another little add-on is bear spray. Now this thing is great because you put the bear spray in and it locks, it locks the bear spray in, but then you can easily grab it and just pull it out and there's the bear spray. So I think that's a whole lot faster than having it down on your hip. You undo a strap, you work it out. I think this is a much nicer, this is a much safer way to go. There's a much faster draw time involved. Because let me tell you, when I was getting charged by a bear on the North Boundary Trail, I did not get my bear spray out. Not at all. I was surprised, the bear was surprised, and I got that strap undone. That's about as far as I got. One last little note about the backpack. I did get buyer's regret a little bit once I saw, I think I would have probably gotten the Catalyst, which is a bigger backpack they have. But, after, it was about 2 or 3 months after I got the thing and I sent them a note. I would have had to pay import duty fees and all that stuff to get it. But I wanted to upcharge to it, send the own back. But they were like, no, it's been too long since you got that thing, so. If this one works, this will be good for the small backpacks, and maybe at the end of next season, maybe I'll decide to get the Catalyst and try to push to like 10-day, 12-day trips, right? I don't have that many of those left. So, like as far as stuff I would like to get done, but still. Anyway, moving along. Tent. This is my old tent. This is not the original bag. I tore the original bag like basically in half, so I went and got an old bag. Like this is from an old Front Country Tarn 2, I believe it is. So I just took the bag. This is my Volt 2. Had to think there for a second. Yeah. This thing has served me pretty well in like the, I think 6 years that I've had it. I've used it quite a bit. It is starting to show some wear and tear, so it was kind of time to maybe think about a replacement before it decided to fall apart on me out in the backcountry. A little bit exaggerated how big it is now because this bag isn't really designed for, I mean, you can see the poles are poking out the top, right? Okay, my replacement. The Z-Pack tent. This thing is so light, it's insane. So, it's the, let's see here. Oh, I just have Z-Pack tent. I'll flash up what it actually is. Really, really helpful, right? So it's a tent that you hold up only with trekking poles. It did not come with tent pegs, so I'm actually using my tent pegs from the Volt 2. They're pretty light, so pretty good. So the old tent was 1,997 grams. The new tent is 657, so a savings of 1,340 grams. Of course, I did pay through the nose for that. This tent was $976, and UPS charged me $57 in import duty fees. So this tent was a lot. This tent was a lot. I tried to do a video about this tent. I tried to set it up here in my place. Well, you know, the trekking pole, you still have to jab it into the ground. Well, that doesn't work on wood floors, so. And right now there's about 1.5 feet snow outside. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wait until April to kind of play around with this tent a little bit. And I'll set it up in the backyard, although I don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere trying to figure this thing out. All right, this one here is kind of unfortunate because I only bought a tent about a year ago. So I bought the Mountain Equipment Co-op Talon -10. It is not normally this big. This is the storage bag. You don't store them all smashed into the little bag. I don't think I'm gonna bother bringing it out for you guys and smashing it back in that thing. This thing is a little smaller as far as volume, not much. But, I mean, I have this tent now that I haven't used a whole lot, and I'm already replacing it with another tent, or sleeping bag, sorry. Okay, this is, I actually don't have details, why not? I'll go to the bottom. It's a quilt from Z-Packs again. It's supposed to be, I believe, minus 10, 20 degrees Fahrenheit. It's insanely light. Again, very, very light, but again, the lightness cost a lot of money. The quilt was $846, and for some reason UPS charged me, it appears to be $73.71. So yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. I'm quite eager to figure out how this thing works. Kind of cool. I have lots of new gear to play with, that's for damn sure. All right, let's carry on with the sleep system. This is the NeoAir Thermarest. I did not replace this. I did not change anything about this. Ultimately, it would have been $300 or $400, and I would have saved maybe 50 to 100 grams. I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna keep using this. So this is the only thing out of the big four that I did not replace. I replaced the backpack, the tent, the sleeping bag, just not the Thermarest. So, no weight savings, just staying with this. All right, this is my inflatable pillow, 55 grams. I just got it from Mountain Equipment Co-op Air Pillow. I think they have discontinued these now. I basically will not live without a pillow anymore. I got tired of jamming clothes into some old bag, and then you have just this mushy, clothes-ridden pillow that's different every single night. So this is, yeah, I will keep bringing this along. All right, last thing, part of the sleep system, the pump. This is a bit of a luxury, but I mean, it's only a luxury that cost me like 50 grams. You know, the old inflatable sack, I think it weighed like 40, 45, and this thing weighs, let's see here, 93. It's a very nice luxury. I mean, after years and years of pumping up or doing the thing, it's like, I'm just kind of tired of it. I do like having this thing. So, there's also a light, not that I really ever use it, right? Anyway, yeah, I do like having it along, so I'm gonna keep it. Okay, rain gear. I already made a video about this. I bought frog togs, right? Those are the pants. There's the jacket. These weigh nothing. These weigh nothing. They were $40. I mean, I've already been told, oh, you know, these things will be torn up in no time. Well, okay, then I've lost 40 whole dollars. So maybe at the end of the year, you know, like, I've definitely been on stuff where, you know, there's a lot of branches and stuff hanging across, or maybe you have to bushwhack, and I've had stuff get destroyed before, but it's expensive stuff. So really, I mean, nobody seems to know how to stay dry on the trail anyway. All these things are there to do is to keep you warm when you get wet, right? That's really all they're for. So, and hopefully they can keep you dry for a little while, but really, you know, so it's a pretty significant weight savings, right? For only $40. 170 grams on the jacket and 215 grams on the pants. I mean, my old stuff weighed almost a pound each. So yeah, that's substantial. Okay, on the light jacket. This seems a bit counterintuitive because I usually, 90% of the time I'm wearing my jackets. All right, I love light jackets. They keep the sun off your arms, off your person. They defend a little bit against mosquitoes. I mean, mosquitoes will still go through, but they will be far less bites, you know, like they won't itch, but there will still be bites, which is not great for, like, you know, dengue fever or whatever. But yeah, you know, it's I do like the jackets. So my old jacket that I had for years, it was just falling apart. So I finally got rid of it. Went into a store in just off the cuff in Banff and bought one for like $120 or something. And then I got one for volunteering at an apple orchard, you know, that my family has connections to. And they gave me a free one, and it weighs less. I mean, that's kind of funny. Anyhow, light jacket, let's see. 288 grams. Currently, my new one is this is 264, that was 288, so a little bit of a you know, whatever. Anyhow. All right, let's talk about gloves. I am not giving up some of these gloves. These are my wet gloves. I bought them for like they're basically for kayaking. I bought them kind of cheap from like Decathlon. These are, I mean, if I'll have like a nasty rainy day that I'm hiking through, the only thing that will be miserable will be my hands, because I'm using my trekking poles and I have nothing on them. And honestly, it's the only thing ruining my day, right? And these things, I might use them one day out of 10, but when I do use them, oh my God, it is such a relief. I never want that pain again of having just icicle hands as you're trying to hike. You know, the last time I had it was on my Assiniboine, doing my round of the Simpson Ridge, the Simpson Range, and never again. So yeah, it might be considered a luxury item, but I'm keeping them. All right, those are wet gloves, so no savings there. These are 112 grams. Work gloves. These are for using the Silky Gomboy. Now, I had thought I would get rid of the Silky Gomboy saw, but you know, I'm already thinking it's gonna be the luxury item, the official luxury item. Sometimes you come across a trail and, you know, there'll be a tree down about waist height. It's not about the tree, it's about the fact that there's branches sticking up 1.5 feet up here and branches firing below. You can't crawl over, you can't really climb over without, you know, catching things and having a horrible time. And then you might have problems getting around it. And sometimes you just gotta trim all those branches off there. It's also useful for just firewood and that sort of thing. Not that I have many fires, but bottom line, I'm not giving these up. So these are gonna be part of my base weight. All right, and these are 82. Now, I had normal gloves, like warm gloves. You see how things will work at their weight. I had 3 pairs of gloves. See how things just work their way into your backpack, right? These I'm getting rid of. All they do is get wet. You know, they were fine for like running around in the morning, your hands are cold, but you know what? Yeah, I'm not using them enough, not even close to enough. They're just another item that gets wet, then they're even heavier. And you know, then it's just become, I don't even bother to like dry them out after they're wet. They just hang out at the bottom of my pack. So it's time for them to go. So that's a little bit of a savings. Let's see here. Small gloves, 90 grams. Yeah, you know, it adds up. Okay, water shoes. Crocs, whatever you want to bring out, right? These are gone. You know, when I went down to trail runners, I did find that my feet were wet, just nonstop. You know, they don't do anything for you. And the big boots, yeah, you have the big boots along. They're a lot more work, but it would take you could walk through wet foliage with them for like 2 days before finally the water got through. Then of course it would take 2 days for them to dry, really, right? Trail runners, if it rained the night before, your feet are wet before you leave camp, right? Just walking around, getting water, cooking for yourself, whatever. So your feet are wet a lot, and I've just kind of gotten used to that. I'm not going to give up the trail runners because of that. Basically, it means that these just don't get used anymore because my feet are already wet. If I really want to, I can just put on a pair of socks and cross if I want to keep my shoes dry. And then I have wet socks, but not wet shoes. And then you know, the socks will provide a little bit of protection from sharp rocks and stuff. What I have found though is that there aren't sharp rocks in creeks and rivers. The water has ironed them out, nice and smooth. They're slippery. They're not sharp. All right, like sharp rocks in the water I find is actually kind of rare. So anyway, the water shoes are gone, and that is a savings of 308 grams, so 3/4 of a pound. All right, this one I'm actually pretty excited to try. So the puffy jacket. So this is my old one. I just got it for sale from like Eddie Bauer. I'm not even entirely sure what the hell the thing was. It says first descent. I used it a lot. These are essential in the mornings. I'm sorry, but they are. If you're up at a past 2 and it's howling wind, these are also pretty essential. But in the mornings when your body just isn't going yet, you've got to use these things. You just cannot. I'm sorry, but mornings are pretty rough already without having one of these. It had a bunch of holes in it. At the pockets, it had split. And I decided to go get it repaired. I went to Spirit West in West Calgary, Northwest Calgary, and got it repaired, and now I'm going to use it for vacation and stuff, right? So the new one is a Ghost Whisperer ultralight. So I'm pretty excited to try this guy out. This thing was also not cheap. Well, actually it wasn't bad. Hold on. It was $325. So I go to Amazon.ca and I find, first of all, I went to Mech. You think they carry the Ghost Whisperer? It's on their website. Big deal. It's not in the store. I go to Amazon.ca. There are Ghost Whisperers for like that are black, that are like $900, right? It's just like, okay. And then I find one for $300, and it's because it's orange. That's it. It's because it's orange. So the color costs $600. The bears, other backpackers, all that, I couldn't give less of a rat's ass about what they think about my orange Ghost Whisperer that cost $325. So, see here. It is so light. Oh. There you go. I look like a giant pumpkin, but I saved a massive amount of money, and it is just as warm. What else do I need? Right? It's not a fashion show. I know some people treat it like it is, but it isn't. Okay, puffy jacket. It was $365, now it's $192. So a weight savings of 173 grams. I needed a new jacket anyway, so this kind of fit in there. Now I can bring this old one out on vacation with me, which I already was. I brought it all on Camino and stuff. It's perfect for that. I'm gonna do the Inca Trail. I think you guys know that. That's gonna come with me. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to bring this out on trail. All right, let's keep going with clothes. So, underwear. I've actually found a bit of an error in here. I put 3 underwear on here and 3 socks. I really only care what's on my back. I don't care what's on my body. However way you want to look at this. So, actually it's 2 underwear. 2 on my back, 1 on my person. Now, we're talking about a 6 to 8 day backpack here. I know there's some ultralight or lightweights who just literally wear what's on their person. I have problems with chafing. So in that sense, having a kind of clean underwear, I think is in my best interest. And also just the reek of your shirts. And if you have a clean shirt to sleep with, which I generally do, I generally sleep with a shirt because the shirt is still cleaner than just a bare armpit hitting your sleeping bag. Then your sleeping bag still stays a little nicer, because once your sleeping bag starts to reek, now you're inhaling that all night long. And I've experienced that once or twice on my 10, 11 day, 12 day. I mean, man, that thing, you were just inhaling it all night. On the other hand, I'm finding that like shoulder season, I just don't sweat as much. It is not nice out. It is not plus 27. And so the shirts will stay nicer a lot longer because they're just underneath some clothes. You sweat into them a little bit, but not that bad. And of course, I use generally merino wool, which does not pick up a stink too quickly. Anyway, little blurb. Sax underwear, I bought 3 pairs quite a while ago. I only use them for backpacking, and they've done pretty well. So here's an example of 1 pair. They are roughly 79 grams each. I have 3 here for 237. No savings. I mean, I'll probably just have, as far as my actual base weight goes, it's just gonna be 2. Whatever. Sometimes it'll only be 1. Socks. This here is a pair of Darn Toughs. Some people don't like them because when they get wet, they are really wet. You have problems getting them dry, but I also have 3 of them here, but actually only 2 inside the pack, so 85 each. Okay, long underwear. I do like sleeping with long underwear. I have bad circulation on my feet, so I'm not gonna give that up. My long underwear needed to be replaced. When I went looking, I just went to like Canadian Tire. I didn't worry about like big brand names or anything at Mech. And I just kind of went like this. I just weighed a whole bunch of them, you know, that sort of thing. And I picked up a pair, and I even compared it to my old ones. My old ones were 196, and these ones are 148. So just simple mindfulness of how much things weigh. Hopefully they're okay as far as warmth and that, right? All right. All right, last item on the clothing is shirts. This is something you should not like shirk, you know, like don't go cheap on shirts. You know, having cotton shirts is not great. You know, yeah, go with merino wool shirts. You only need a couple of them if you're just doing 3 or 4 day backpacks. That's it. Nothing major, right? Here's one of my shirts. This is from Mech. It's 47% merino wool, and the rest of it is, I think, polyester, something like that. But, you know, yeah, what have we got here? 20% polyester, and then 33% recycled polyester. Anyway, some of them are 100% merino wool, some of them aren't. I have 3 shirts down here too, 145 each, roughly. But looks like that's wrong again, right? I have 1 on my person. I don't have 3 more in my bag. I have 2 more in my bag. For a 6 to 8 day, that's pretty normal stuff. I had to change the camera angle and stuff, sorry. I try to keep it consistent, but people then text me and then I have to move my phone and you know. This stuff is not my forte. I think you know this. Okay, moving on. Cooking and storage. So, this is my old water system, right? So you can see what a smart water bottle looks like after a whole year of use. Here's a comparison. And then I had the Nalgene. So I've decided to drop the Nalgene and just go with 2 smart water bottles. This is a common trick, I think, amongst the lightweight crowd. I've tried to get one that was a different color because generally I like to have 1 water bottle with cooking water. So just water that I just take straight out and then boil. And then another one where I've treated it. So I wanted different colors for that, right? Getting rid of the Nalgene means that I've decided to drop a major item out of my food, which is my whey powder. Because you cannot put whey powder in those little, and that just doesn't work, all right? You need a wide mouth to scoop whey powder in. Whey powder weighs a pretty decent amount. I'm dropping all this weight off my backpack, and I'm not increasing my mileage. So I'm still doing 12 to 15, maybe 20 kilometer days. And so I think with all that weight gone, I'll be able to do without the whey protein. And so that means I've been able to drop the Nalgene. One thing I will say about an Nalgene is it is a safety item. You know, backpackers like myself who go on stuff that's not used as much, we do crossings. I've never gone over, but I've been close, probably at least twice, maybe 3 times. I've gone close to going over, and then, you know, it's not so much drowning. Well, it is kind of, but like, let me explain a little bit. It's about the fact that you're over in glacial water. And if you're in that for a minute or two, well, now you start losing function. And then you're gonna drown. If you still haven't got out of the water yet, you're gonna drown at that point. But you're in there for a minute or two and you get out, well, now hypothermia is a big deal. And my immediate solution would be set the tent up as fast as I can. This is assuming that I can still do this sort of thing. Get into the sleeping bag, but also can boil up water, put it in this thing and put it in with me, right? Or I can do that with someone else who is suffering hypothermia. Can't do that with a smart water bottle, I don't think. That's not gonna work. Anyway, that is a savings. Let's see. Nalgene down to the smart water bottle, that's 139 grams of savings. All right, Starbucks to-go cup. I'm not giving this up. I love this. I love having my coffee in this. And this is already my third one. If you've been watching my channel, you know what happened with the first two. The first one I broke out on the Clearwater loop, and the next one I had a squirrel or something chew it out. So anyway, I do love these things. I'm gonna keep it going. Alrighty. So there's another new item. So this is the Toaks pot and stove. Stove is different than the Toaks, but I did a video about this little stove. So this is instead of the Jetboil. Inside this thing, I will store like a little container of fuel. And from the Jetboil, I have decided to keep this. And you know, it just adds nice stability. And sometimes I am not on a picnic table, right? In fact, most of the time I'm not on a picnic table, so you want this. Like I said, I did talk about this thing already at a video, but this was $88.85. And I think I did mention I was gonna leave the lid behind, but I think I have decided I'm gonna take it with me. Okay, let's see here. Jetboil down to the Toaks. This thing is now 169 grams instead of 385. That's what the Jetboil was. Savings of 216 grams, so half a pound. This thing will definitely be less easy to use than the Jetboil. We'll see how it works out, right? All right, so just kind of going through the rest of cooking and storage. I just threw a whole bunch of my Ziploc bags together and threw it in, and it weighs 50 grams. That's the way that's gonna work out. Spork. I bought a titanium one. I got tired of those plastic things breaking. Spork is 20 grams. A couple of lighters. Do not want lighters to run out on you, right? Do not want them to, to rust up and not be usable anymore. So you try and keep these in separate bags. If something happens to one, you're okay. I even have an emergency one in my like medical kit type thing, my first aid bag. So these things are 44, the two of them. All right, Ursack, bear bag. Sometimes I can leave this thing behind, most of the time I can't. So 240 grams. And I don't think there's any, this is essential. On a 6 to 8 day, I mean 6 days, honestly 8 days is pushing it with this. It really is. It's really good for about 6. And even then, 6, I'm probably leaving my fuel out, which you're not supposed to. Right, a bear might get interested in the fuel. So yeah, 8 days even is pushing it with this kind of thing. All right, now I just have a section that I call Miscellaneous. This is my electronics bag. So I've got this guy. This is definitely a never leave behind, right? In case the worst should ever happen. Paid good money for it. I pay $17 a month to use it. Totally worth it. I bring it with me anytime I'm on a backpack or a day hike. So this, with the cords and the bag, is 144 grams. Battery pack. So I've just got the weight for this thing. This is 20,000. I tried looking for, I thought, you know, it's been 6-7 years since I bought this thing. I tried finding something, it's like battery technology must have improved by now, right? Not really. Not really. Like, not for these. Maybe I could have saved like 75 grams, but not worth it. So it is a 6 to 8 day trip, so I would bring this along. I would not bring along a 10,000. So it's part of the day. It's part of the weight, right? All right, let's see here. Where is it? 356 grams. So that thing weighs almost a pound. All right, let's talk about the first aid bag. Honestly, I'm not totally sure what all I took out of this thing. This, like, moleskin for blisters and stuff, I'm just not using them. Blisters are not a problem for me. So I used to have like 7 or 8 of them in here. Well, that adds up in a big hurry, right? This stuff becomes, suddenly it's a quarter of a pound is moleskin. So now I'm just having like 1. This, I can tell you I did bring out. This thing weighs like 70 grams or something. It's great for wrapping up whatever, but do I ever use it? No, I don't. I just don't. So this thing is gone. I did replace it. I do have a subconscious fear of twisting an ankle, especially with the, you know, the move to running, you know, trail runners. Because I have a subconscious fear, probably it's going to happen. So I do have one for the ankle that I bought. It weighs almost nothing, all right? I have a little knife, which I do use sometimes. It is absolutely sharp as all get out. It's quite handy. Backup lighter. This is a compass, right? If for some reason, I mean, it weighs basically nothing, so I don't see any reason to take it out. I'd be saving like 3 grams taking this thing out of here, so. Little thing of duct tape. This is good for little repairs to the tinge or whatever. We don't want to hold the spread. This is just a little bit of fire starter cube. If the worst should happen, I really need a fire. Okay, I can at least have some of this with me. I need to replace these actually. This is aspirin, just a couple of aspirin. I already bring Advil on trail, but if you come across someone having a heart attack or something, aspirin within the blood could help save their life. Basically the only thing you can do for them. And then, you know, get them out of there, call the helicopter, but that's almost it, all right? All right, first aid kit. Let's see here, 216 grams. Oh, I got it down to 106. So, pretty decent savings on that one, right? Okay, bear spray. There's no getting around this guy. Bear spray comes with me. That's the end of it, all right? Okay, bear spray is 307 grams. Okay, sit pad. This thing weighs 57 grams. It is a nice luxury to have. When you're sitting on stuff, you know, there's not much comfort out there. There really isn't. Even just sitting on a picnic table, it is nice to have this thing underneath your butt. It is. You know, especially when it's been raining and stuff, so now you don't have to worry about it. I don't have to go slip on my rain pants just to sit down. I can just sit on this thing. Yeah. You can see how beat up and used it's gotten. It has proved the test of time, right? I have been using it and using it and using it. Okay, Slicky Gone Boy. I've been through 2 or 3 of these guys. All right. They're not cheap. They're like 80, 90 bucks and you can't sharpen them. I bring along those work gloves because I have cut myself a few times using this thing. And also, if you're gonna take off tree branches, you kind of need work gloves. Yeah, I think this will remain my luxury item for sure. Okay, stuff sack. This thing's gone. I've decided to replace it. So, when I was buying my backpack, I decided to just get these guys. They're like, I don't know, maybe $2 a piece. They're basically backpack liners. I tried looking for these compression bags, these garbage compactor bags, and the only thing I could find was the extra strong garbage bags at the store, or you could order these garbage, bags online, like a box of like 60. It's like, so I bought like 2 or 3 of these things. Let's see how they work. Good enough. So that is a weight savings again, right? The stuff sack was 111 grams. Now that is 0. These things are really 0. Maybe they're like 2 grams or something. All right, you might have noticed things have changed a little bit. It's about a week later. Yeah, I'm pretty bagged from doing a lot of work, but I got to get this stuff done. You're not tuning into this channel for my handsome face anyways, so really, who cares, all right? Okay, so I believe I completely finished off the base weights. So it comes out to, let me see here. It comes out to 13.92 pounds. So that is pretty awesome. That's a nice cutback from what I had. Now let's talk about consumables. I think my food was in pretty good shape, that sort of thing. I think my consumables has been in better shape too. I don't use a filter. I rarely find a need for a filter in the mountains. Sometimes sometimes water's coming directly out of an ice, like an ice field, right, a glacier, and you think that would be perfect water, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's really silty and nasty. So sometimes there is kind of a need, but usually I can get away without a filter, right? So I've been using water treatment tablets. This package is definitely really beat up, but I think I've still got quite a few left in here. This weighs basically nothing, all right? It really does. On top of that, I just have a little Ziploc bag with a few coffee filters in here. So if I did have like a lot of little bits and stuff, if I had to take out of a lake where I couldn't find an outlet, then this is perfect, right? It takes some time, I'm not gonna lie, but you put this over top of something, strain the water through, and like I said, it takes a bit of time, a bit of a pain in the butt, but then no more little bits, all right? This is basically the most lightweight system you can have for filtering your water, right? Okay, lip balm. I just get these from like my dentist. These are, again, these weigh nothing at all. And I mean, having the dry lips, it does suck. You are outside in the mountains. It can get very dry. Exposed to the sun. On the North Boundary Trail, my lip was splitting open at one point, so I was really happy I had one of these things, right? That's pretty good. I know a lot of backpackers don't even bring a sunscreen with them, but I can't imagine anything worse than being lobster red face and now you're trying to deal with that. And you still don't have any of this, so what are you going to do now, right? It's very hard to find these little containers. I went looking around a dollar store and I managed to find like this for like $2. There's like 6 of these little things in here. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, I only need some for like my face, right? So I'll just put some in a little thing like this and bring it with me. And again, this weighs almost nothing. So this really didn't weigh much either, but at least now I know exactly what I'm bringing with me. We'll have to see how this works. I'll have to make sure this goes into some kind of Ziploc bag when I first run around with it, because I don't know how sealant it is, right? Maybe things are gonna leak, but we'll try it out. Okay, mosquitoes. Oh God. God, the last 2 years, mosquitoes have been pretty good, but man, can they put a hamper on the enjoyment of your trip. I mean, I've seen many people who just simply retreat to a tent. They just can't enjoy wherever they are at all. And I can't blame them. I don't think I'm gonna find a better system than just bringing along a bunch of musk oil. I wouldn't take along this much, but even this is not enough to like kind of, you know. So I have started to bring, I've been walking around with this. I don't think I'm gonna give it up. So I got a container. I tried walking around with these coils, except you can see what happened to them, right? You just need to bend them enough and they get beat up in your backpack and they start going in pieces. So I did go and find a little container. Let's see how much this thing weighs by itself. I'm curious. I actually haven't explored this at all. All right, container with the lid. Let's get ourselves the old food scale. Give me grams. All right. 71. You know, it is actually a bit of a thing. Let's say I took along, like, I don't know, this. And then, of course, you need one of these, right? Now, because it is all, like, destroyed, I only have the little slats right in the end, right? But what I found I can do is just take my handy-dandy little knife, and then you can just make your own little slat. Let's say I brought one of these and this, which is probably way more than I even need. All right, so we're talking about 95 now. I would not bring along this much. I'd probably bring about half, but hey, just for fun, 200. So there's a lot. That's half a pound going to just trying to fend off the mosquitoes. But, oh man, mosquitoes. If you know, you know. All right, as I was looking around through stuff, I realized that I left a piece out of my base weight, and that is the toothbrush. These are the kind you can buy at Mech, right? They're a toothbrush, but also they have a little bit of toothpaste in here. And to be totally fair, let's put the little bag on. What have we got? 45 grams. All right, so I mean, I was at 13.96. I guess I'm at an even 14 now. Another consumable toilet paper. A big roll like this, I would definitely take for 6 days, right? I think once upon a time I did see how much, but I mean, how much they will last. Sometimes you get diarrhea out there. This is also really good for if you're having problems starting a fire, right? So I don't mind having, you know, I don't mind having a little bit of extra and stuff like that. All right, let's see here. What do we got? 104. All right, so that's a pretty decent amount of toilet paper, but for 6 to 8 days, I probably would take along at least this much. Hell, I might even take more than that. Might even take like a full, like 3-ply roll, which probably would be a bit more. All right, let's get into food. I think I did pretty well with this at the beginning, really. I researched a lot and tried to figure out what the food would be. Everything I have is like freeze-dried, or I paid a lot of money for one of these freeze-dried meals. But breakfast, I make these myself, right? I can't stand those ones that you buy, Harvest, you know, Crunch, Quaker, whatever those things are. They're awful. I make my own. And then I spruce them up somehow. This one I have Reese's Pieces in there to try and spruce it up, right? I usually will even bring along a little bit of brown sugar. After you've had a couple of hundred of these, you need to spruce them up. Coffee, hot chocolate. You've seen me enjoying these like every day. Let's see. I might get these in the camera. There we go. I was bringing along soups. I'm going to include it for now, but I'll talk about that in a second. Snacks for the day. So right now it's still Clip Bar and Fruit Bar for little vitamins. And then one of these guys. So you can see I put the year on them to make sure I don't leave them year after year after year. But one thing I've discovered too is that these things all weigh different. So, you know, I got a whole bunch of them there. I'll weigh them and then write on each one how many grams they weigh. And then when you go out, you can kind of grab the heaviest one and kill it off first, right? It might not make much of a difference, but it's the little things, right? It is, because there can be like 50, 60 grams of difference with these things, right? It's the small stuff. We're on a 10-day trip. So now you're dropping that 50 grams on day 1 instead of on day 8, right? All right, curiosity, let's see what this weighed. All right, zero you out again. I also have whey powder that now I'm not gonna bring. I'm not gonna show you the physical. I'm not gonna scoop a bunch out in the bag right now just to physically, it's gone. I'm ruling it out, it's out of here. But anyway, I'm curious to see what all this, if I can get it on here. All right, let's see, I can do a little math too. I'm not completely math deficient. All right, all this, 262. All right, let's get this guy on here. See, this thing weighs 157 all by itself, right? And of course, as many of you probably know, these are like $16 now. Throw the soup on just for fun. 245, 262 and 245. So roughly 500 grams. So that's about a pound and like 70, 80 grams, maybe 100 grams. That's not much. And the soup is gone. I've decided that no more soups. My toques can't really handle them anymore anyway. I used to throw 2 of them in my big jet boil, 1 liter. Now my toques is 700 milliliters. And then I would like maybe do that for supper and save myself $16 on one of these. Because these soups are like $2 each, right? But, you know, they're extra. Ultimately, they're kind of extra food and no more of that. All right, whatever I can do to cut down my overall weight. Another thing too I'm gonna start doing is these guys. I'm gonna plan a little more carefully. Because I find when I have a day off and all I wanna do is hike around, day hike, explore an area, I don't eat all my food. So I think these things now are gone. So if I'm going out 6, 7 days, and a lot of times I have, you know, 2 days of playing, okay, well, 4 of these things are staying me home, right? 2 of these and 2 of these. Whatever I can do to cut down the weight. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna do a 6-day pack up. All the breakfasts and my coffee and my hot chocolates, 5. Day 1, you don't need breakfast, right? Day 1, you are most likely going to Tim Hortons or something or whatever. You're getting your breakfast somewhere else. All right, out of curiosity again, 746 grams. Okay, snacks. Let's say it's a 6-day trip, but 1 day is for day hiking. Well, you can't really cut the 1 day off at the beginning of the trip because all 6 days is backpacking. So I would normally bring 6 of these, right? I wouldn't cut one off because I get one breakfast somewhere else. But 1 day is day hiking, so 5. So 5 of these. I am aware too that they're all white chocolate. I would generally try and variety it up, but in this case, I'm just doing this for this video. All right, let's see what these things are. These things pack a little bit of weight, you know. 551. So my day snacks are just as much as my breakfast is. All right. All right, let's talk about fuel. Let me get some of this other stuff out of here. Okay. Unfortunately, now I have a new cook system, so I don't know how much fuel I need. I don't know how much fuel this thing is gonna eat, right? When it comes to packing your fear, fuel is something where I pack my fear. I always take too much fuel. When I first started, I took way too much fuel. On the North Boundary Trail, I took 3 big cans and one of these little things. So I had enough fuel for, you know, 30 days or something, right? Probably maybe even more than that. And the plan was for, I think, 14 days or 13. Ended up out there for 11. So too much fuel. I have bought this thing, which is, it's called the gas adapter. You just get them for cheap off of like Amazon and stuff. And they will transfer fuel from one of these to another. So I think that'll be nice. Problem is I can't really use it this season because I have plenty of fuel already bought and little things like this. So honestly, I think probably one of these is probably almost enough for a 5-6 day trip. Especially because if I'm gonna stop making soups, well, I have basically stopped making lunches anyway. But I mean, I packed my fears, so I'm probably bringing 2. This one says $1.99 on the bottom. Let's see, maybe it's been used a little bit. This says 201. That one says 201. I think they're both full. So I would probably take one that's like maybe half full. I'll go see if I have one. But it is tough to coordinate the right amount of fuel in these canisters, and that's why I bought this. And then eventually I'll have some of these empties, and then I can buy like a real big one, then just transfer as I need. But yeah, it's in this case, new fuel system. I have to experiment with it, right? I have to figure it out. And you can play around with that in your house all you want, but your house is not the mountains. It is not outside. It is not with freezing cold water. It is not dry. It is not the correct elevation. You just don't know until you get your butt out there and try, right? And that basically is going to take a whole season for the most part to figure out. Okay, I guess I kind of left it in the shot a little bit already, but I just went and rated my entire stash. What happens too, sometimes you go to Mech or to Breathe or whatever to pick something up, and then you just decide to grab a fuel canister while you're there. So yeah, I already had these 2, both full. This thing also appears to be full. Nothing written on it, I don't think I've used it at all. This says 380 on it, so this has been used a little bit. This says 2 to 3 days left, and I think it says 229. Yeah, 230, so 229. And here we have another one, 3 days used, 284. So, yeah. So, I mean, I already have enough fuel probably for the whole coming, this is at least 30 days of fuel. Yeah. All right, so I mean, one of these 200, honestly, I need to figure out how many grams I use every day. That'd be amazing, but I can't bring this scale out onto the trail and then figure it out after a full day. It's not gonna happen. I could say that maybe I would just bring this one along to 380. So that's the equivalent of 2 of these, all right? 284. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. That's why I bought this thing. All right, maybe I would bring along, if I empty out some of these, like one of them for instance, and of course I got rid of all my empties. I didn't foresee buying this adapter on my first trip, then maybe I can start kind of emptying out these big ones into it. The whole point is to try and save some space, right? These guys are, like I said, they're big. So anyway, I will pack up these 2 in my 6-day pack up, which is lots. I'm sure this is at least 10 days of fuel. Okay, now let's figure out if I can do this. You know, I haven't done this in a while, not since I got the new puppy jacket. Let's see if I can get all this in here. All right, there's my food, there's my fuel, consumables. Oh, I gotta put about 1.5 liters in the water jugs. I think that's a fair weight. Of course, that goes up and down as you drink and refill. Yeah, 2 shirts, 2 socks, 2 underwear, long underwear, light jacket, gloves. Okay. Okay, hopefully I've set this up so there's not too many distractions in your shot. You can also hear me. Okay, let's get started. Oh, we're gonna make a little bit of room with the backpack, and I already have one of these inside liners stuffed in here with absolute care, of course. Let's not fool ourselves, right? This is exactly how it's gonna happen out there. There's not gonna be any care taken, so I might as well do it the same way. And I'm trying to make a nice little video for you, right? Okay, Obviously this is not super organized the way I'm gonna do this. I'm just trying to do this for you quick. Let's get this out of the way. So, dry things in the bottom. Let's, the quilts. Definitely, that wants to be dry. This bag, I think, is already fairly waterproof, but so what? You know, so what, you know, like, let's figure out what's real. Let's wait till this thing gets hammered with an hour and a half of rain on my back, then we'll see what's what. But anyway, got the inside liner, and if I find that's not good enough, then I'm gonna like steal the old, off one of my old sleeping bags, I'm gonna steal one of the dry sacks off it, because this, I'm not sure actually is a dry sack. I think it's just, yeah. Anyway, it's the kind of thing you're gonna find out. Here we go. Got that in there. This is the thermarest. Definitely want that. Dry. Try to build a bit of a wall down there. Okay, clothes. 2 shirts. Very stuffable items, right? I can stuff them around the sleep system. Long underwear. Normal underwear. Socks. The light jacket is definitely gonna go like on the outside or something. It'll probably be my person, so I'll try to figure out something where it is accessible. Okay, more things I want to keep dry. How about the electronics? Definitely. Okay, got the air out of the bag, right? You don't want all that air. Stuff. Okay. Oop. Pillow. Another dry item. What else? What else do I want to keep dry? All right, I don't think anything else needs to keep dry, so I'm going to take the inside pack liner and I'm going to roll it up. Roll up inside the bag. Try to get all the air out of it. There. All right, back to work. First aid bag, utility bag. Open up just a little corner so the air gets out, but not enough so that things are dribbling out all over the place, right? Let's see. How about bear bag? As I go along, I tend to I get less and less food. Sometimes I'll just throw this in there with the food still in it. Okay, I don't know about this, you know. This, as I shake it around, it's probably gonna get smashed. Yeah, I might have to come up with a new system for this, but anyway, right now, I'll put it in here and I'll do it in that case. Toothbrush. I don't think I mentioned this. This is a bug net for your head. Another thing to try and stop the mosquitoes. They're just such, God, they're nature's pest, to say the least. Okay, let's start with let's get some food in here. Breakfasts. Not doing too bad so far, I feel like. It's starting to get close to the top now, so why don't we get some toilet paper in here. Generally, this gets used in the morning. You tend to try and get your morning business to happen in the morning instead of like in the middle of the day, so you can actually use the log toilets or the green throne or whatever happens to be around, and then you can just put this away, and generally you don't need it again unless there's been a problem with the water or something, right? Okay, what else here? All right, how about the sit pad? Kind of stuff it down the side. Oh yeah, my Starbucks mug, it's also got my my little pump inside of it for the air mattress. Do I want that on top? Yeah, okay, it could go on top. The thing about this is it's actually supposed to like pull down to here. But even just with 6 days of stuff, it's already kind of pushing on the top of that right now. All right, I'm gonna get the food. I'm gonna get the food in these side pieces. Okay, so in these side things, I've got 4 of my suppers. We'll see how all that system is gonna work, right? All right, let's get some fuel in here. Water. All right, got the water in here now that I've got water. There. So one side pocket has got, I put a fuel inside the toques, right? And then I've got the toques in there, and then I got 1 water in there. These are big side pockets. Now I have the other water in there. And I think I'm gonna put some of my water purifying in there as well. I want good access to that. How about some mosquito spray? Let's see here. As you can see, I'm still figuring out how to pack this bag up, right? How about Silky Gone Boy? You know, you gotta get afraid of losing stuff out of these things, right? But they're nice big pockets, but also, yeah. I don't know. Shake it around a little bit. I can see things, all the stuff moving. Oh, I kind of forgot about this pocket as well. I think the Silky Gone Boy is gonna go in there. And work gloves and water gloves. I think those will go in there too. Oh, but that's where that's where my rain gear is supposed to go. Oh God. All right. This is tough, you know. All right, rain gear. Frog togs. Okay. I can definitely get the gloves in there. Let's see. This guy here. And the gloves. All right, that's quite a bit in that pocket. That's all right. All right, I gotta figure out something a little better for these small items, but for now, I'll just throw them in. So spork, lighter. Lighter, I mean, that should have gone in one of the food bags. Whatever, I'm not digging them out. Let's just get them in there for now. Let's gotta wait, right? I'll put my light jacket in here for now. I'll include it as part of the weight, why not? These are just the bags I threw in just to kind of give a bit of weight as far as, but I'll leave those out for now. I already have some bags in there. Okay, have I got everything that I want to throw in here? Oh my God. All right, so that would normally go into the dry area. Normally, I mean, I'm gonna have to put a lot of thought into this as I pack up for my first trip. But in this case, I'm just trying to see and show you what this backpack will do and what everything looks like, right? I have to say, in some ways, I already miss my 105 liter where I never worried about space. Like I said, I did want the catalyst on, you know, like introspection, but oh well. I'm stuck with this one. Okay. Now, have I forgotten anything else? No. Well, here's one more lighter. Normally I have two, so they would go in the food bags, but in this case, let's just get it in there. So now, roll this guy up. Like that. Okay, there's a little strap up here. That is for the tent. Try to get it roughly in the middle. Try to get this thing packed up a little nicer maybe. Okay, put it like that, like this. Tighten her up, there. Okay, bear spray, I'll put that up here and into the pocket. Obviously, it still needs a bunch of work, right? Let's move you back a little. Maybe angle you up. You can see what's going on. Bear spray in here, right? I have to figure that out too. So you got that like that, and you stretch this over like this, there. And then when I want to, I just yank it out. Okay, oh boy. Winter hibernation belly. Mind you, I usually have this belly, but over the winter it's definitely a bit more. One thing about this is, because I ordered it online, I couldn't really see how it felt on my back. And so that'll be something that's interesting to find out. I mean, when I bought my other backpacks, you know, my one other backpack, I bought that one because it felt good. That's why I bought that Osprey. I had actually gone in there with the intention of buying a Gregoire, but the Osprey felt a lot better than the Gregoire did. So I bought an Osprey. This one I couldn't do that, right? You just order offline. Okay, or online, I should say. But there you go. Right? It is light. This is 6 days. This is nothing. This is nothing. I'm hoping to push it to 8, but I think 8 would be a lot of stuffing. Maybe I would have to get like an outside bag of some kind, right? For 8. Okay. Okay, this is the moment of truth. Here's our little bag weigher, generally used for luggage, but works in this case too. So, you saw what I put in here. It's 6 days, right? The food, there's 1.5 liters of water. Everything I need, I will walk out the door this way. The only thing else I would have is, you know, my trekking poles and that, which aren't really included on this. Okay, here we go. Nice and easy. All right, put it down. What do we got? I'll show you before I even see it. That's just about difficult to believe. You see where the white stopped, right? 23 pounds. 23 pounds. This thing goes up and then it records it, right? So I'll go like that, give a little tug, and it shows you the highest point. It got to 23. 23 pounds for 6 days. That's insane. If I can get a couple more, maybe a little outside bag on there. You know, my food is only 500 grams a day, so 25.5 for 8 days. Remember, I just came back from a backpack where I just had 8 days and I did 45 pounds. I think it was 44. And then I added 11 on for the boat. So it ended up being about 55 for the first 15 kilometers. So, of course, now I had to make this work, right? It's all well and good to sit there and go on and on and on. Now I got to make it work out. But that's amazing. I spent $3,000, but now I have a 25-pound pack, which is pretty badass. So I'm looking forward to, you can check me out trying to figure this out all summer, this summer. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna put this video out probably actually in the next 3 or 4 days. Right now, as I speak, the last of my Athabasca Pass backpack is coming out. I want to put this out for your education, for your, maybe some of you are wondering what I've come up with, just so that you still have a little bit of time to maybe try some of these things out. Hopefully you picked up 1 or 2 things that you liked out of all that crap. Basically, I have basically told you everything I know about gear. You know, 90% of it in this video. I'm not the type to put out 20 videos, you know, with you know, the big face and everything and holding up something just like, oh, amazing shavings, right? That's not me. Yeah, but honestly, I don't know how to end this video at this point. It's pretty shocking. It is. I might have spent a lot of money, and I've made my backpacking probably a lot more, like, it's gonna be a lot more trouble, right? But by the end of the season, hopefully I'll be pretty good at using the sleep system, the cook system, packing up his backpack. Hopefully it'll look a whole lot better than what it just did. I'm sure that wasn't real pretty, as I'm trying to sort of rush through and stuff everything in there. But yeah, you know, pretty cool. All right, that's enough. Get out there and hike.